Welcome back to another episode of Motogp Mac, and today we're going to talk about the sprint race that just happened for the Qatar Grand Prix. Now, the sprint race was won by Jorge Martin from Fabio Di Giannantonio, Luca Marini, Alex Marquez, Pecco Bagnaia, Maverick Vinales, Brad Binder, Fabio Quartararo, Augusto Fernandez, Johan Zarco, Marc Marquez, Jack Miller, Marco Bezzecchi, Raul Fernandez, Franco Morbidelli, Polo Espargaro, Iker Lecuona, Taka Nakagami, Joan Mir, and Enea Bastianini was the last one across the line. Aleix Espargaro and Miguel Oliveira were involved in a crash on the opening laps. Bastianini was also caught up in it. He did remount and finish the race though, however. So what do we say about Jorge Martin? Well, he definitely didn't play it safe. He definitely was super aggressive in getting to the front. You know, he made up 4 places with some absolutely excellent riding and battling. And, you know, he did go toe-to-toe with Pecco, and it was absolutely brilliant to see. Completely different rider today from yesterday, I must admit. But you know, he's brought the championship battle to Pecco. It is definitely going to Valencia no matter what happens now at this stage. So it's definitely going to be very, very interesting to see what happens in tomorrow's main race. Now, he was running the same tyres as Pecco, but he was just, you know, showing how he is the sprint race champion, if I'm very, very honest. Well, taking risks, going for it, you know, and just balls to the wall, and you cannot take that away from him. Also, Fabio Di Giannantonio, you know, he didn't make the best start, so he had to battle his way through, passing Pecco, Marini, etc., and Marquez. So, you know, super ride. You know, I understand VR46 are not actually looking at him. I think they would be crazy not to be looking at him after this race. And let's just see what happens in tomorrow's race. You know, I thought he was going to close Martin down, but Martin seems to be absolutely mega through the first sector. Is able to pull 2 or 3 cents over everyone. So any time that Di Giannantonio was trying to make it back, it was just too much. A good race, I won't say a great race from Marini. You know, he was over 2.5 seconds or 2 seconds behind Martin. But again, it was solid. He was there again in the Honda shop window. Is that going to happen this weekend or not? Their lawyers are talking. They're trying to get the deal done. You know, not a lot of time to make it happen, to be fair. Alex Marquez, again, seemed a solid race. I won't say excellent. You know, he was a good bit behind Jorge Martin, half a second behind Luca Marini, but again, good solid race, which is just what he needed after having a couple of crashes this weekend. Pecco Bagnaia, I think it was a very underwhelming performance, if I'm honest. He just didn't seem to have it on the hard tires. So, you know, was he sacrificing this race for the next race tomorrow? It will definitely be interesting to see. You know, he couldn't pass Alex Marquez. He was close to him for a while, but he couldn't get his way past. Good race for Maverick Vinales. Was closing in on Pecco towards the end, but didn't actually get there. Brad Binder, again, good solid race, up 4 places from his qualifying, but Vinales came past him, and it was that was his race done then. Really good race from Fabio Quartararo, made 6 places in the short sprint race. You know, it does bode well for him tomorrow in the main race. Again, Augusto Fernandez didn't do a bad race either, up 3 places from where he started. Johan Zarco did lose a few places from where he started, but again, you know, I would call it an average performance. Still top 10, but, you know, Jorge Martin needs to try and get him in between himself and Pecco to help him as much as possible in the championship. Marc Marquez, he had a great start, actually, to be fair, was battling with everyone. You know, what he's done on the Honda, I don't agree at all with him doing his normal towing of people. I just think it is pure wrong. But on his racecraft today, I thought he did really, really well, pushing that Honda way past what that Honda is capable of doing. Jack Miller, again, up 4 places from where he qualified. Solid race is what I would call it. But again, you could see with himself and Binder, the kind of KTM kind of just ran out of pace. Marco Bezzecchi went on the soft tyres. Didn't make a place, didn't lose a place, but I think maybe that running on the softs was not the optimum option. Raul Fernandez, such a promising weekend in the top 10. Didn't actually race that well, if I'm honest. Lost about 5 places, I believe, during the race. But saying that, again, he is ahead of his teammate, or was ahead of him all weekend. His teammate didn't finish the race, but again, it was a good enough solid race, let's just call it, from Raul. Franco Morbidelli up 3 places from where he started, but I expected a little bit more from Franco, if I'm honest. But he is going to try again tomorrow. I guess that's all he can do. Pol Espargaro up again 3 places as well. Not a bad showing, but again, I have the feeling that Pol has kind of lost a sense of motivation with being benched for next season. Iker Lecuona, who will get a 3-place grid penalty tomorrow for impeding Enea Bastianini during qualifying. Quite a good race. He did beat Taka Nakagami. That's what I will say about it. You know what I mean? Taka Nakagami, again, just behind him. Taka is definitely struggling on the bike, as is Joan Mir, who was in 19th. So realistically, behind Marc Marquez, Iker Lecuona was the top Honda. Enea Bastianini, as mentioned, he was involved in an incident with Aleix Espargaro and Miguel Oliveira into, I think it was like turn 6 or something like that. He did cross the line, but again, last 5 places overall in the race. Aleix Espargaro, look, there's a lot of talk about him at the moment. He's got a €10,000 fine and a 6th place grid penalty for tomorrow's Grand Prix. And I think, if I'm very honest, I think the stewards were very lenient with him during the Q1. Himself and Morbidelli had a little bit of I would call handbags, but it resulted in Aleix Espargaro doing his usual exploding and stuff like this, and he actually struck Franco Morbidelli on the head with his hand, and he got the fine and the 6th place penalty. And I don't think it's enough, being honest. Look, we've seen Aleix Espargaro explode and give out and complain, and I get it, heat of the moment, but we saw him crash a number of times in the last couple of weeks. I think it's six or 7 crashes now in the past 2 weekends. Extremely rude and disrespectful to marshals. He's abused his own team this year, and again today striking an opponent. I don't mind handbags, lads. I'll be very, very honest, but I think he needs to be curbed and given a proper penalty. If he's on about 4 million a year, a 10 grand fine is worth absolutely nothing. It's just like 20 quid to a normal person. Miguel Oliveira, this guy always has a target on his back being taken out. It's definitely not the season that Miguel has had, but I feel in the past couple of races, Miguel has lost an awful lot of motivation. Overall, I think the sprint race was really, really good. There is no doubt that Jorge Martin, rider of the day, stood out. Very close, though, to Fabio Di Giannantonio, who's riding for his life, let's just call it that way. And, it was a really good race between those. So, all in all, quite happy with it. But I would definitely love to know your thoughts. What did you think of the sprint race, and who was your rider of the day? Definitely leave your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll be back again tomorrow with another video.